Taika Waititi is the biggest fraud in all of Hollywood. This guy, man, he is, he's not too dissimilar to that of Brie Larson, okay? Follow me for a second. He's one of these guys who rose up from relative obscurity, ended up very early in his career earning an Oscar, and then just riding on that accolade to come over and in his own words, I'll ruin your mythos in a minute, baby, because he's gotten the keys to the castle on multiple different franchises. Now he's got his eyes squared directly on Star Wars after what he did to Thor, but we'll be getting to that very shortly. But Taika Waititi says his movie will piss people off. Fantastic stuff. That's exactly what you need to tell the beleaguered Star Wars fan base. Oh, we're going to have a big budget movie. We're going to have a return to the cinema, and it's going to be, brought to you by the guy who, oh God, directed Thor, Love and Thunder. Oh, fantastic stuff. Oh, and, he's not here to make like a good movie or anything like that. He's here to piss people off. Oh, fantastic. Over the last few years, Lucasfilm has largely focused on its television output. Not for a want, because that Obi-Wan show was supposed to be a movie, but it didn't end up happening like that. Book of Boba Fett? Perhaps that would have been the case. The Mandalorian? That was definitely always supposed to be supplementary content. When it's all said and done, all of that stuff is all supposed to end up with a big old Dave Filoni Mandoverse film. See how well that ultimately ends up doing. After mixed reviews. Does anybody fucking like that shit? Like, I hear, okay, there are some people that like The Last Jedi. Also, they're convenient to point out in a crowd because they all have propellers on their hats. And some people, were taken aback by the amount of lens flare for The Force Awakens and its shoddy retelling of A New Hope. But I don't think anybody really likes, except unironically, The Rise of Skywalker, just for how clown shoes it is. But all right. Kathleen Kennedy-led outfit opted to pause most films in development in favor of projects they could release on Disney+. How well is that working out? Anyways, now that development is beginning to pick back up at the studio's film slate, sure it is. One of the filmmakers developing a picture is Taika Waititi. The Oscar-winning director behind Jojo Rabbit. Hey guys, that was really funny. Yeah, but guess what? He was the director on that. Did he write it? More on that very shortly. And Thor, Love and Thunder. According to Waititi, some Star Wars fans may get upset with him over his movie. It will be, dramatic pause, a Taika Waititi film. Well, that's fantastic. You're making a Star Wars film, so how would you make a fucking Star Wars film? Okay. It's gonna piss people off. Waititi's untitled Star Wars film is probably never, ever going to come out, and if it does, it's going to make $6,800 at the theater because everybody's tired of Taika Waititi. I've got a really good idea for it, Waititi told The Hollywood Reporter earlier this year, according to the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strike began. It's just as with all films. It's the middle part. You're like, what's going to happen? You look at all those films, and they're all so great. Oh, fuck off. You're like, well, I guess I can't meet some smuggler with an alien sidekick. What the fuck are you talking about? Okay, this was also coupled with another interview, might be the same interview, where he said, yeah, no, the Star Wars film, it's coming, but I got like 4 other projects that I'm working on right now. Imagine, okay, cast your minds back, okay? I'm sure I can see some of my analytics, and we're all of a certain age where you can go ahead and cast your minds back, not even just to the original trilogy, but during the prequel era where everything was, thanks to red shit letter media, fuck those guys, for as much damage as they did to the brands and all the revisionist history that everybody hated the prequels at the time. Well, I was 99. I remember all of the marketing going on at the time, even before anybody's seen The Phantom Menace. I didn't check it out in theaters. I've never actually seen a Star Wars film in the theater, and I'm not really, pining to. It's not my thing. It's not my thing. But then again, I'm not so bold as to think that, something that's not my thing, I'm going to come in and make it mine. No. People love this shit, okay? At one point in time, Star Wars was the biggest thing ever. You slap a Star Wars logo on it and you can sell it for like 3 or 4 times the amount of its purchase price. Now, you can't give that shit away because of fucking narcissistic assholes like Taika Waititi. But don't worry, guys. Oh, he wasn't going to piss off everybody. He's just going to come back and he's going to bring joy. The same kind of joy you felt during the original trilogy. Yeah, the guy who thought that a screaming joke running throughout all of Thor Love and Thunder was the best way to move forward. Oh my god. Taika Waititi has given a vague tease of his in-development Star Wars movie. And by the way, in development could mean, yeah, he's gonna direct one, or it could mean active production. Spoilers, it's closer to the former than the latter, saying that he wants to capture the joy and the entertainment of the original film trilogy. Speaking to, Jabba the Hutt, Kelly Clarkson on her show, the Marvel director claimed that he was inspired by Lucasfilm's first 3 films set in iconic galaxy far, far away. Right, yeah, 77's Episode 4, 80's Empire Strikes Back, and 83's Return of the Jedi. Yeah, we know the original trilogy. Thanks. Given its protracted development cycle and Waititi's stacked in tray of projects, it just, again, cast your minds back to a point in time where everything was coming out and Star Wars was the shit. Putting this, it's like, yeah, I know I'm tabbed to produce something for Lucasfilm, and I'll get to it when I get to it. Oh my god, there were people at that point in time, like, the height of the fan films, okay, all of the extended universe shit. People would have killed their extended family just for an opportunity to consult on a fucking script. But this guy has everything at his feet, and he's just gonna go ahead and treat it like shit. Fuck you. A little bit more on this for a second. And while the multi-talented entertainer, he should probably focus on having one before anybody wants to affix multiple talents to him, but okay, is still keeping shut him. I'm not familiar with that word, on what his film will be about. His latest comments suggest he is not going to take Star Wars franchise in a weird and wacky direction. Yeah, but then again, okay, previous interview with Variety, it's going to be a Taika Waititi film. Interesting. It's not going to be like that. He's not going to do that to Star Wars in a weird or a wacky direction, which was a common criticism of Thor Love and Thunder, his second Marvel Cinematic Universe production. Yeah, but there were a lot of people that also had problems with his first, being Thor Ragnarok, and then because he did such a great job and everybody heaped praise at him. Oh my god, he told such a great story with Thor, took him on such an emotional journey, and he found a way to mesh humor with seriousness, the likes of which only James Gunn and Joss Whedon had the opportunity to. But guess what, guys? You take a look at the credits. Taika Waititi didn't write for Ragnarok, and some people even still had problems with that one. But he had everything at his disposal for Love and Thunder, and that thing aged about as well as yogurt on a radiator. And guess what? This one right here, this pisses me off. Okay, well, as I can feel empathetic for Star Wars fans' pain when it comes to somebody just, talking out of both sides of their mouth. But you guys have already been there before, right? But Thor, he was my favorite, okay? Like, I really love the original Iron Man, but in that first slate, I didn't mind the Incredible Hulk film that much, but Thor was definitely my guy. I like that first Thor film. I like it quite a bit, in fact. And probably with time and, just also comparing it to modern releases as well, it's probably aged exceptionally well. So then again, you would think somebody that has such an extended and laid out cinematic history as the character as Thor has had, because prior to Taika taking over, well, there was the original Thor Dark World. He was in Avengers, Age of Ultron. I think he was in Civil War or not, but he had 4 or 5 different appearances, right? So there was a lot of source material there just to keep it straight. And if they announce, hey, I'm going to be making another Thor film, okay? If you were going to be directing, you were going to be the face behind the camera on that one. Wouldn't you think you'd apprise yourself of the source material? This is why the video is titled the way that it is. Taika Waititi had no interest in directing a Marvel movie. Took Thor Ragnarok because he was poor, and it was a great opportunity to feed his kids. Yep. Now all the skeletons are coming out of the closet. Now I can't believe this. Taika Waititi revealed in his new episode of Smartless podcast. Oh, he has his podcast. I'm sure nobody listens. That he had no interest in joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a director. Oh my god. Okay, like I alluded to it earlier, but imagine, okay? Let's just say some studios, and they're not, okay? By the way, I'm not alluding to anything behind the scenes, but just saying, okay, somebody's peering in, okay? Somebody's peering in. They like the way that I talk. They like the way that I deliver the news or opine on topics that are interesting to me, and they want to hire me to do a speaking gig. They want to reach out to me and say, Don, And we think that you're the perfect speaker for our upcoming event. We want to have you come in and we're going to discuss a bunch of very important worldly issues. Don, you are the perfect vessel in order to disseminate our message about climate change. And we got a big old bag for you. It's like, I'm not the guy to do that, okay? Especially the way that you want me to talk about that. I'm going to have to go ahead and decline because guess what? I'm a man of authenticity. I'm a man of principle. Taika Waititi, on the other hand, well, Taika could care less. And remember, at the time when he joined 2017's Thor Ragnarok, which is widely considered one of the best Marvel movies, not really. It's for most people, like, okay, if you really like that film, it might be in your top 10. It's definitely on the, it's better than some, but, better than most? I don't think so. And 2022's Thor Love and Thunder, which is widely considered one of the bottom 3 that have been released in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The Oscar winner said he originally accepted the Ragnarok gig for money and had just had his second child. Unfucking believable. But this guy, oh my god, he was a trailblazer in the industry. Oh, he just won an Oscar for Jojo Rabbit. This is when everybody should have, just take a look around at what's going on with Marvel and it's like, oh, are you actually bringing on guys that are passionate about the project? Or are you just trying to fill a quota? Are you just casting directors like was so obviously exposed with Eternals and Chloe Zhao, a chick who, follow me or stop me if you've heard this before, won an Oscar for a movie about a chick driving a van across the country. Interesting. But she was Asian and she was a she, obviously, and she won an Oscar. Yeah, you could market the film that way. Worked the first time with Taika Waititi winning that director's Oscar for that 1930 German comedy, right? You know what? I had no interest in doing one of those films, Waititi said. One of those films. Oh my god. You've done 2 of them, and they're just called those films. It wasn't on my plan for my career as an auteur. Now, I know what auteur means. And Taika, he has a way with words. I don't know if he's using it as a synonym for retard, but we'll see. But I was poor, and I just had my second child, and I thought, I. A lot of I's in here, you fucking narcissist. Now, you know what? This would be a great opportunity to feed these children. This is the same way that somebody looks at getting, like a stock gig at a grocery store. And it's like, yeah, I need to feed my kids. I'll pick up a couple extra shifts. This guy, on the other hand, it's like, yeah, I just had my second kid. I'm going to go ahead and actively destroy a beloved character to millions of people around the world. Oh, must be nice. Good work if you can get it. And Thor, let's face it, it's probably the least popular franchise. Oh, he singled it out. He continued, I never read Thor comics as a kid. Okay, at least he's being honest about this stuff, okay? That was the comic I'd pick up and be like, ugh, oh my god, then why did you take the gig? And then I did some research on it, and I read one Thor comic, or 18 pages, or however long they are. Oh, disrespecting the source material. I was still baffled by this character, so I thought that, hey, I could go ahead and ruin this established character, but it's great, because I won an Oscar before. I'm an auteur. Fuck you. Sincerely, fuck you. When asked if Marvel executives were scared to bring him in, Waititi answered, I think there was no place left for them to go after that. I thought, well, they've called me in. This is really the bottom of the barrel. Oh, this hurts. This legitimately hurts. Thor Ragnarok ended up earning critical acclaim and $853 million. The worldwide box office, Love and Thunder, topped out at a $760. They wanted to go ahead and say, that's still strong. It's about the break even for that fucking budget that he threw on top of that, okay? And nobody likes that film. Waititi recently told Business Insider that it most likely not return to direct another Thor. Yeah, because nobody fucking likes it. Because his slate is booked for the next 6 or so years. No, and it's also because Chris Hemsworth, actual Thor, the guy who gives a fuck and tried to do the best for his character that he possibly could, is like, yeah, if we're going to do a Thor 5, yeah, I don't really know, but if they want me there. He completely and totally sucked out all passion for Chris Hemsworth. This fucking hack, man. He just goes around and ruins everything that he fucking touches. Marvel, Now he's going to be on to Star Wars. And fun fact about this, a little homework if you're so inclined to check some stuff out. This asshole, okay, while he was working, while he was working on Thor: Love and Thunder, he approached Natalie Portman because he hit it off really well with her. You know, he's like, hey, I'm going to be working on a Star Wars film, okay? Natalie Portman, thinking that, maybe he's looking for some advice or something like that, went up to her and said, hey, you'd be great in my next Star Wars movie if you'd like to come work on it. She was fucking Padme Amidala. She is Luke Skywalker's mom. She was in all 3 of the prequels. This guy doesn't give a fuck about anything not named Taika Waititi. This is why the state of the industry is that of which it is right now. Narcissistic assholes taking over well-established, well-beloved franchises, molding them to their image, and then blaming everybody else after the failure has been complete. Fuck Taika. Fuck the types of Taikas that are out there in the industry right now. The quicker that the purge begins, the quicker we can get back to reasonable and accessible entertainment. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.